Good afternoon, everyone. I am Shivam Datta, founder and CEO of AlmaBetter. I welcome you all to today's Ask Me Anything session. As you all know, this is an integral part of all our data science programs that we offer at AlmaBetter. So, every weekend, we organize this AMA session wherein we invite a distinguished member from the data science community to connect with our students. These sessions are intended to broaden the understanding of the data science aspirants and how they should prepare themselves in the best way possible before venturing into the industry. So, with that being said, let's welcome our guest for today, Mr. Samarth Agrawal. So, Samarth is a senior data scientist at Tata Consultancy Services. TCS is a global leader in providing IT services, consulting, and business solutions. So, Samarth, there's a BTech from IIT Bombay. Over the last 13 years, he has acquired a rich experience across data science industries, and he's here today to share his learnings about the data science industry with you all. So, Samarth, thank you so much for taking out time for this session. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Shivam, and thank you, AlmaBetter team, for such a warm welcome. And thank you all for joining us here today.
Yep. So, Samarth, before we begin the AMA, is there anything that you would like to add to your professional background?
Sure. So one thing I would like to add here is that I am an IIT B graduate, and I have done my engineering from material science. So you can see that I do not have a college-based programming background.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate to be in data science industry since the beginning of my career. During my campus placement time, I spoke to a lot of my seniors, mentors, and understood that this is going to be huge. We used to call it data analytics earlier, now it is called data science. But I have seen the progression. I have been building data-driven solutions and machine learning solutions for over 13 years across many countries and many companies for Fortune 100 companies, for giants, as well as for startups. So I'm hoping to share my learnings with you today and give you some useful insights.
Thank you so much, Samarth. So, want to focus on one thing. So, you created a Python package named FastML, which aims at making the lives of data scientists easier. No, it has numerous inbuilt functionalities. So, could you tell us about that package in brief? Like, what is the idea behind this, and how did you turn this idea into achievement?
Sure. So the inspiration and the root of it is as I come from a non-programming background, I took a lot of notes from the industry's best, from Kaggle winning kernels, from the top data scientists across the world, and I try to incorporate those insights into my work. And I included all the best practices of how to do exploratory data analysis, how to do good feature engineering to handle the categorical, numerical, date time features well, how to perform feature selection, how to go about model development, and so on and so forth. So it was my personal repo.
Mm-hmm.
With time, I found out that it the package or the module was very useful for me to train my team on the best practices of data sciences and how to go about it. Then
Mm-hmm.
one fine day, I decided to release it as an open source so that everyone can benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
And last time I checked, it had around 30K downloads already.
Okay, that's great to know. So, urge all our students to try and explore FastML package and Python. So, yeah, Samarth, could you talk about your role as a senior data scientist at TCS? Like, in what ways do you deploy data science capabilities in daily tasks at work?
Sure. So I'm responsible for end-to-end delivery of the machine learning solution for a project. Since TCS is a service-based company, there is a good amount of stakeholder management, time management that I have to take care of as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're working for a client, most of the time we have to collaborate with the IT team to get us the required data. We have to work closely with the business team to understand the data. And from then on, the journey of data science starts. Once we have got the data, once we have understood the data, We kind of try to massage the data, find out some insights, share those insights with the business, and go on about solving whatever problem you're working on.
Right.
And about TCS, TCS uh, analytics is a horizontal. It
Correct.
cuts across various verticals like BFSI, retail, telecom, healthcare, etc. So we have delivery team where team members actually work for one particular client belonging to one of these business unit, and then we have a practice team where we work on solutioning and we work on POC. So they are relatively short-term projects.
Got it. Got it. So I think one of the pros of working in a service-based company is you get to explore a lot of industries, as compared to a product-based company wherein you are just restricted to one industry. So everything has its pros and cons. So this is one
Right.
of the good pros
Right.
for a service-based company. So as you all know, retail was one of the earliest sectors to deploy data science and AI solutions. Data science techniques are increasingly transforming business operations and decisions in the retail sector, right? So, Samarth, you yourself have worked in this domain where you performed Clickstream analytics, right? So, could you tell us a little bit about that project and how did it strengthen the customer experience and benefit the client?
Sure. Before that, I will give some context, and that's my usual idea to have a broader view of things that you're working on, and
Mhm.
then always start from the top level view and then get it down to what you're doing to connect the work that you do, how it impacts the larger goal. So,
Right.
this Clickstream actually was a part of a very large multi-million dollar project that was going on in a Toyota. It
Mhm.
was called Retail Transformation, and the vision of the company was that they wanted to make the purchase of the cars as easy and as simple as you buy anything else from Toyota,
Mhm.
Amazon. You could go online and buy anything. So they wanted to make the experience as seamless and as easy.
Mhm.
So that was the broader goal. And Clickstream basically is a gold mine of data whenever you want to understand anything about the customer's behavior. And this Clickstream helps you uncover a lot of these patterns and is a pivotal for any e-commerce company.
Correct. Yes. So yeah, I totally
So
agree. Right. So yeah.
in that I was part of a product. The product name was online trade application,
Okay.
and what it does, it helps user to get an instant approval for their purchases. So they can come in, they can fill the form, they can provide information, the personal details, their employment details, social security number, like an equivalent of Aadhaar in the US, and they get an instant approval. What is the rate, what is the tenure, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were trying to analyze this Clickstream data to understand the performance of this product.
Got
We were analyzing the user journeys. We were trying to understand what are the drop points of the customer, what is the completion of the forms, how much time it takes to fill the application. We were
mm,
trying to analyze, is there any difference in the user journey of users who filled those forms versus who abandoned those forms. And Clickstream also gives us a lot of errors, so that goes as a feedback to the product development team to fix those errors.
right, right. And I guess click data is very, very important in a sense that
Extremely.
you get direct signals from the customers, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
which you can work on, and there's no better signal before payment or before whatever goal you have other than clicks, right? So yeah, it's a very good data to
Absolutely.
work on.
It is the customer's digital footprints. So without they actually telling you what they want and what they're looking for, that
And
data it can reveal that upfront.
correct. Yes, yes. So, Samarth, along with this project, we have undertaken many other projects that enhanced decision making in the retail domain. So,
Mhm.
while working on these projects, was there a specific set of steps that you followed to reach tangible solutions? Like, what is the approach you take while solving a business problem in general?
Answer to this would be the same as you would have heard from all the previous talks.
Uh-huh.
Start with the business problem. You have to understand what is it that business is struggling with.
Correct.
whether they are trying to analyze the product performance as we see for the OCA, or they're suffering from high loan defaults, or they're looking for some kind of operational improvements, which
Mm-hmm.
we will talk about in the talk. So once you have understood this problem, you have to translate that problem into the analytical or data science problem. For example, can you create a risk scorecard to assess the credit worthiness of the customer? And you
Mm-hmm.
can use the historical data and data of the other customers to do that.
Correct. Yes.
Once you have established that, then you move on to building a machine learning solution.
Mhm.
And at that point in time, it is also a very good idea to decide what you will call as the success of your model. You have
Correct.
to work with business to
Mm-hmm.
understand, or to set the goal, or to understand from them what is their goal. They think
Right.
98% of accuracy, 95% of accuracy, 80% of something. What is the goal? And it is an important step, because that sets the expectation right for the
Correct.
business and for yourself. You know the target that you have to work for, you know what kind
Mhm.
of metric that you have to choose, and optimization that you have to do eventually in your problem set. so
Correct.
so you see all the kaggles and all, they define the success metric upfront very clearly.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I guess, yep.
And then once you have established all that, you have to reach out for the data. And data is the soul, is the oil of all the machine learning solutions. So
Right.
get data from the ID team, get data from the data understanding from the business team, and from there on, your actual journey of doing things starts. You start with data cleaning. You understand what data is available, whether it is missing or some kind of massaging is required. You have to do a lot of feature engineering on it, and feature engineering extremely important, so that you can uncover the patterns which were not very obvious or very inherent in the given data.
Right.
Then
Right.
you reach on to building a model. You do a lot of experiments, you do a lot of iterations, you try various techniques, and then you identify that for the given set of data, what kind of model will naturally work.
Correct. Right.
Hyperparameter tuning is an important step. So for all the viewers here, as an aspirant data scientist and data scientist, you
Mhm.
must know various ways of doing all these steps, various packages involved, various kind of fine classing involved. All that you have to learn from doing the hands-on projects.
Correct. Right. Right. Definitely agree. And I guess one of the important points that you mentioned, right? So defining a metric that will define your success is very important when you are approaching a problem, right? And as you said, it sets the expectations right.
Yeah.
And also, if you are doing some, non-industry projects, right? Maybe in Kaggle or something, right? So you should have something in your mind that, okay, if I achieve this much accuracy, this is going to impact the business problem by this much percentage. So you should have that sense in mind, or at least try to connect your model's accuracy to the actual business outcomes improvement, right? So
And I'll tell you, this is such an important thing, because a lot of time business also doesn't come from an education or a background in data science. So they may have some vague expectations, or some unnatural expectations. So
Mhm.
asking all these questions, defining these things, quantifying it, and having it written down helps them think through about what are they trying to
Yes.
achieve.
Yep.
And to and fro would involve, but ultimately it will set you up for success.
Correct, correct. Definitely agree. So lately, a lot of companies are deploying AI and ML predictive models to come up with accurate forecasts that can direct business decisions, right? So, Samarth, you have developed and dealt with predictive models before. So, could you provide an example or two that illustrate really well the impact these predictive models have on business decisions?
Sure. Again, so I will talk about the pricing analytics, and I will give you a broader view, as I always do. So,
Sure.
in the US, they don't have a concept of MRP on the products. In
Got it.
in India, you see, right, on the packages or on the boxes, you see MRP is written down.
Mhm.
They don't have it, and every store, every seller has the freedom to decide the price they want to sell it for. So what they do is they stack the items, or on the shelf they write what price it is going to sell for. That's it.
Got it.
So now discounts in the US are of two types.
Mhm.
One is temporary, that we see here, that for 1 week or 2 week the item is selling for 40% less than 20% less. The
Mm-hmm.
other one is more permanent in nature. They call it markdown. And
Mm-hmm.
in that, once the price of the item is reduced, they will not increase it further. It will sell it for the lesser price for the remaining life. We have started to see now, like, for electronic gadgets and all, the phone has come. So iPhone 12 came. So the price of iPhone 11 went down and it will sell for that particular price.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of advanced analytics involved in that markdown process, which item to mark down, what percentage to mark down, and when to mark down.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, you don't want to reduce the price of an item that is selling well. It is in fashion, people are buying it. You don't want to reduce the price. You
Correct.
only want to reduce the price to boost the sales.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's say how will you decide to mark down 20% or 50% or 60%? You have to understand the implications. If you mark down too deep,
Mm-hmm.
then you will have a revenue loss. You
Right.
will not earn that much money from the sales of that product.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you decided to mark down too shallow. You don't give 80%, you give only 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Then the product will not sell much and you will have an inventory pile up to deal with it. And a stored inventory is again a loss.
Right.
Same thing happens is, when do you mark down? If you mark down too late in the life cycle, every item has a curve, when it sells well, when it doesn't sell well. So if you mark down in the earlier part of the life cycle, you will have a losses because the product would have sold for the original price. If you mark down too late, then again you will have implication that the product will not sell out and you will have inventory to take care of. So this is how the advanced analytics and ML practices are actually solving very, very crucial problems for businesses.
Right. And I guess initially, before the adoption of AI and ML, people used to use heuristics to determine all of these. But as you said, there is a trade-off between how much discount you are giving and how much sales you are getting. So you have to be very precise in deciding the markup, as you said, when and which product to choose. So it becomes very, very important when you have a whole lot of products, maybe in thousands, to decide the markup of each one of them in a very precise manner. That is where the power of AI and ML comes in.
Yes. When I was with Oracle, we used to work for clients like Walmart. So
Mhm.
imagine if they have an inventory of 50,000 items, even more. So
Yep.
they cannot heuristically decide the price of each and every item. They would not know what's going on.
Yep. Right. So, as we all know that data analytics has been one of the key assets of the BFSI sector, at least, right? So, Samarth, you have worked on projects in this sector and deployed data science capabilities. So, could you tell us some real life use cases of data science and AI models in this particular sector and the overall change they have brought in the industry over the recent few years?
Sure. So, I have done a lot of work in the BFSI side, and probably, I'll try to talk about both the fraud side and the marketing side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the solution that we deployed for a bank, it was in the anti-money laundering solution side.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a transaction monitoring system that generates a lot of alerts to
Got
for the investigation team to investigate that this is a potential fraud, investigated and find out whether it is genuine or fraudulent.
it. Got it.
So imagine a handful of operations people manually investigating all these cases. It's such time consuming, such tedious, and huge problem for the business ops team.
Yep.
So we built a machine learning solution that kind of learns the pattern and kind of eases out the effort on the ops team and can tell them, okay, these transactions are genuine transaction. No need to worry about these transactions.
Right.
And such a solution had actually twofold impact.
Mhm.
One is that it took away the workload from the investigations team when it learned the pattern and started to auto close. And
Mhm.
secondly, it gave them scores. It gave them a score of
Mhm.
highly fraud versus the lowest probability fraud. So it helps the team to prioritize their efforts. They
Correct.
can focus on the high priority alerts first, and then subsequently go down to the lower ones.
Right. Right.
Another one I will take from the marketing side, where bank wanted to cross sell some of the products to their existing customers who use the other product. So, they wanted to know which customers to target. They
Mhm.
have a limited budget. They cannot reach out to many people. They want to maximize the ROI of the campaigns they want to learn.
Correct.
So we decided to build a machine learning model that
Mhm.
can tell them which customer or which set of customers are more likely to respond to that campaign, are more likely to actually take on that product.
Mm-hmm.
So we build a model, we generated data, and the client run a campaign, and it generates in the ROI in 2 digits. So that was a significant
Yes.
gain. You would see as customers in Indian bank, there's another use case within marketing is activation. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people just sign up for credit cards, but they never use it. And banks generate a lot of these activation campaigns. They
Mm-hmm.
target some customers, and then they send out campaigns that, hey, if you use the credit card for let's say ₹1,000 or ₹5,000, we will give you this kind of an offer.
Right.
So this is what actually the activation campaign in the marketing worlds look like.
Right. So I guess very beautiful examples of two different functions altogether in which data science can be used in the same industry, right? So uh, on one side you are just detecting fraud and uh, just deploying anti-money laundering models. On the other side, you are also trying to sell out various products, right? So trying to cross sell various products. So a very beautiful example of data science and ML being used in the same industry in two different functions.
And this is where the beauty of the evaluation metrics comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to highlight the importance of all this right now.
Correct.
You have various metrics like accuracy, precision, and recall. They all cater to different needs. Now, depending
Right.
upon the kind of problem you are trying to solve, sometimes having a false negative can be very, very problematic. Like imagine a fraud case, you are saying not
Right.
fraud, huge
Mm-hmm.
monetary implication.
Yes.
Versus for a marketing side, it would not matter. Okay, I mean, the customer was supposed to transact, but he did not. That's okay. So,
Right.
not just understanding the mathematical formula, but knowing the intuition on where a particular metric would fit into would take a long help for all the people.
Right. Right. Yep. And I guess this is one of the reasons why AI and ML is seeing so much adoption, because it can be used to solve a variety of problems, not just restricted to a few class of product
Yeah,
problems,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and now with the advent of DL and ML
Uh-huh.
ops, we are seeing various other use cases which are very cool to see, right? So, okay. So Samarth, you have been in the industry for 13 years now, right? So, in your career, you have worked with data in various sectors, developed an understanding of the overall data science industry. So, what do you think the future of this industry holds in general?
There are so many advancements in the tech side and the data science world. It is
Right.
exciting. It is bone chilling as well. The
Mhm.
problems that were difficult to solve earlier are getting solved like it's nothing. The
Yep.
machine learning, deep learning, the advancement in computer vision, NLP has,
Mhm.
has helped solve many problems very, very easily.
Right.
So this is definitely opening up a lot new frontiers. A whole
Mm-hmm.
new stream of data engineering has opened up now. ML ops has opened up now.
Mm-hmm.
I remember 7 8 years back for those marketing campaigns, and we used to build model. We actually used to send output as an Excel file.
Yep.
That's about the deployment was. I mean, nothing
Yes.
more.
Yes.
So I think one of the area that people can focus on is being that full stack data scientist. So you cover the end to end spectrum of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps you may not be required to do all of that on a day-to-day basis on a more detailed level. An expert will do that, but having a good knowledge of this whole system will put you in a very unique and advantageous position. You will have a purview of the whole ecosystem, how it functions, how to design that, and what kind of skill set are required. So it will take you a long way. And
Right.
as for the advancements are concerned, there's an auto ML that's coming up that is
Mm-hmm.
strongly taking away a lot of heavy lifting from the modeling point of view.
Correct. Yes.
NLP is emerging as an independent field in itself, and soon we might see job postings like NLP scientists. No, they are no more data scientists; they're NLP scientists,
Right.
and that's true because in real world we have more unstructured data than the structured data, and companies the ability to collect, store, and use and analyze these unstructured data has increased tremendously.
Right.
Hugging First, Hugging Face is a startup that is primarily focused on the NLP side of the world. They
Mm-hmm.
have secured some funding recently, and very recently I saw what they started doing is they have pre-trained structures and models and algorithms, use their API to train it. Now they're charging you per usage of the model training on their APIs.
Yep.
So interesting use case and interesting developments happening.
Right. Interesting business model as well, I would say. Yep.
It
So,
was free earlier, and like very, I think in
uh-huh.
last 2 months only they've started like charging to train the model.
Right, right. Yep. Okay. So I guess we had a whole lot of discussion around data science. Um, um, so want to focus more on the education front. So currently there exists a gap between education and employment opportunities in this country, right? So students spend lakhs on education, and despite that they do not end up with rewarding opportunities. So thus students end up acquiring a huge debt in the early years of their career. So we at AlmaBetter are trying to invest in our students, and we ask for zero fees for our courses. Students only pay us once they land a job through our placement drive. So what are your thoughts on schools like AlmaBetter, which focus on skills rather than providing degrees and operate on a pay after placement model?
That's a wonderful initiative, I must say, Shivam. And I have seen a lot of these has done so well in the US.
Mhm.
And I've always used to wonder why people are not so creative and committed for doing such things in India. And I see you guys are doing it. It's just wonderful. And it is always a very risky proposition for the students to spend lakhs of money without
Right.
having any kind of visibility or job security. the,
Mm.
the pay after placement model is fantastic for students and actually realizing and fulfilling their dreams.
Right.
I
Right.
also feel somewhere that this model reflects many things. A, your
Correct. Yes.
confidence in teaching.
Mhm.
B, your confidence in your students.
Right.
C, you focus on the overall development of the students so that they can secure a job.
Correct.
Not just the hard skill but the
Yes.
soft skill development part as well.
Mhm.
And I think it fosters an overall trust environment. Your
Correct.
students will know that you're truly committed, you're truly working towards helping them to
Yep.
achieve their career goals.
Right. Right. And pay after placement, more than a payment method, it has a whole lot of implications. And if you deep dive into it, you see a inner layer of whole lot of trust, transparency, commitment that we have both on the student side as well as from the institute side.
Absolutely,
So which
absolutely.
right. So we are now approaching the end of this AMA session. So Samarth, are there any tips or advice that you would like to give to the data science enthusiasts attending this session?
Sure. you know uh, First thing I want to tell you is that focus on building the system. Don't focus or worry so much about the goals. What are goals? Goals are basically the results you want to achieve. Don't worry about that.
Mhm.
System is that the processes that will take you towards those goals. So build a system, know what you're doing and know how you're doing it.
Mhm. Yep.
One thing that you must always do at each stage of your career, wherever you are at, is to hustle. Wherever
Right.
you find yourself you're stuck, find
Mhm.
a way to move out of it, carve your own way. And I think when you have taken up this course, you have already taken one step towards, whether you are already working somewhere or you're fresher, you have decided to want to break into data science world and you're working towards it. So keep that spirit. Don't stop
Right.
doing this. Let's go about it.
Right.
And always seek out for help. Never hesitate to talk to seniors and mentors. Talk to people. You'll get a lot of valuable insights.
Right. We totally agree on these points. And I guess students should hear out these things and try to implement these in your day-to-day life, right? So that you benefit the most. And yeah, I guess with this, we have now reached the end of the session. So I would like to thank you, Samarth, for joining us for this session today. And
Sure.
I think your answers were extremely beneficial and enlightening for our attendees. Hopefully the students listening to this session had a great learning experience. So if you have any further questions about the data science industry, you can connect with Samarth on LinkedIn. I hope that is okay with you, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. So again, it was lovely to have you here today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.